Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pitch Stage 2, and thank you for joining us today for the 5th round of Pitch. For those of you who don't know, Pitch is an on-stage startup battle where a selection of Web Summit's top startups are selected to pitch their business in front of a panel of esteemed judges made up of a selection of our investor, partner, media, and speaker attendees. There are 8 startups taking part in this group round, representing the various industries that exhibit here at Web Summit. We've taken the best and most interesting startups who will battle it out to become Pitch Champion. Each startup has 3 minutes to pitch our panel of judges, followed by a 3-minute Q&A from the judging panel. But before we go any further, let me introduce you to our panel of judges. We have Bobby Healy of Carroll. We have Tomas Moreno of EDP. You also have a really cool booth. It's really cool. It has like swings on and upstairs. It's very, very cool. Christina Fonseca of Indico Capital Partners. And Steve Backman of High Tech Partners as well. So, our judges will be scoring our startups on 5 categories: product, potential to disrupt, financials, team, and quality of pitch. Our first startup is 3D Look. Please welcome to the stage our first pitcher, Vadim.
Hi everyone, my name is Vadim Rogovskiy and I'm CEO and co-founder at 3D Look. I would assume that almost everyone here buys apparel online at least once a month. Or like in my case, your wife does it for you. So we bring 3D body scanning in the palm of end consumer's hand to solve the biggest problem of apparel industry, which is returns. So it's a over $100 billion problem in US only per year, and it's growing really fast. And what is the main reason of it? Obviously, it's lack of data. Retailers and fashion manufacturers still don't know anything about their consumers' bodies. So they still used a legacy size charts from 1980s. And from a consumer perspective, it's much easier to order 3 garments and return 2 of them, rather than trying to use these inconvenient and complex size charts and measure themselves manually, which no one can do really right. And our serviceable obtainable market is growing very fast and is going to surpass $1 billion by the end of 2022. And in terms of technology, we use a unique combination of computer vision, deep learning, and complex 3D geometry to process and measure a human body from just 2 photos on any background from any smartphone without any special hardware at all. And our first B2B product, Say a Perfect Fit, uses just 2 photos to generate accurate size recommendation for end consumer, which decreases return rates and increases conversion on the retailer's website or mobile app. And second product, Say a 3D. Second product, Say a 3D, generates accurate avatars for more effective apparel design or a virtual try-on. So that's how shopping of the future actually will look like. And we have collected what makes us really the best. First of all, we created the most accurate and the easiest to use technology that can measure dressed people on any background by just a mobile device. We have collected over 200,000 human body profiles since we started, so it's all proprietary data that we use for training. And we have a very ambitious milestone to hit 100 million scanned people by the end of 2022 to collect the biggest human body database in the world to help retailers to finally fight with this problem. And we use SaaS model for SMBs, and we charge enterprises monthly or annual licensing fee. We are running commercial pilots with companies like H&M, Nike, to name a few, and we have 64 large enterprises in our active pipeline. And our team is a strong combination of enterprise software, product management, deep tech, and fashion retail experience. So thank you for your attention. We are exhibiting tomorrow at B323.
So first question is, how are you going to get to all those customers? Through indirect partnerships with retailers?
So we sell to businesses. We are B2B.
Yeah. So what's your acquisition model for those businesses, and how much does it cost you, and how do you model that out over your investment?
So our sweet spot is enterprise clients, and we've got all these companies in the pipeline without any sales. It's just after some press mentions and word of mouth is really strong in this area.
Yeah, but word of mouth's not going to get you to those numbers.
Well, yes, and after that is pure enterprise sales. I mean, yeah. Yeah, so it's outbound and inbound activities.
Do you have paying customers, and how much are they paying?
So our total revenue in October was $15,000, and half of that came from a recurring revenue from, for example, from commercial pilot with H&M and from 4 smaller companies.
A follow-up on that. These pilots that you were talking about, what's the follow-up to how are they going, and what's the commercial follow-up or expectation for those pilots?
So the pilots that we are running now, so we got to them after several successful POCs, and so the retailers want to prove this model on a bigger audience in order to switch to a full commercial contract after the pilot. So far it's going good. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Last question. Help me understand sizing. I know when I try to get a pair of jeans, half the jeans in my size don't fit, and half the jeans in my size do fit because of different cuts in fashion apparel. Do you solve that problem?
So we solve, of course, we won't solve the manufacturing problem, because if jeans are manufactured on 2 different factories, they might look slightly different. But we will solve the major part of this returns problem. But still, another part is on manufacturing side. So we need all the ecosystem to change, and we see already a dramatic shift happening there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Big round of applause for number 1, 3D Look. It's always tough going up first. Up next, we have Faniak.
Hello, everyone. You can make a life out of music, but you cannot make a living. My parents said that to me when I first told them I wanted to become a musician. I spent the next 20 years trying to prove them wrong, going from playing in garage bands to having a #1 single. I know now that they are right. Creating great songs, writing inspiring lyrics, playing good gigs is just the tip of the iceberg for artists. To succeed, music artists need sales, marketing, PR, and management, like any other business. The problem is they don't have the time or expertise to do it, nor the money to pay for it. What artists really want is to strum their guitars, write more songs, and see their work translate into earnings. Faniak solves that. Faniak is the first AI band manager, takes care of artists' careers so they can have time to make great songs. Designed to suit every artist's personal needs, Faniak feeds their data into 2 complementary areas, the stage and the backstage. The stage, everything fans and industry players need to know in one place, always up to date with their social media. It's a window into the artist's work and the first stop for fan merch. The backstage, powerful AI tools to optimize key business areas, making the complex simple. Let me talk to you about the Gig Planner, a tool that helps artists book the best gigs by matching them with the right venues using advanced machine learning to predict audience attendance. $43 billion was the music industry total revenue last year. Artists only receive 12% of that, and mostly from touring. I don't know how much we will make that share grow, but we charge 3 times less than a booking agent. We charge no management fee, and we reach a huge untapped market of artists that have neither a manager nor a booking agent. That's the great majority of artists. Why now? Faniak is using AI at a time where it's driving change across all industries. and the music business is quickly changing to the digital world. Societies are evolving towards the user empowerment, as we have seen with Uber and Airbnb. It's the first time in 12 years the music industry has hit a $43 billion peak. My name is Nuno Moura. I'm Faniak CEO. I'm part of a team of 5 founders covering all areas of expertise. We have João Graça as our advisor. It's Unbabel CTO, our trusted friend and advisor. We are the right team to do this. We are passionate about music, and we are working hard so that the next generation don't have to choose between a life and a dignified living as a musician. Thank you. Hello.
Can you help me understand your revenue model? I know you're 3 times less than booking agents. How do you make money?
Yeah, so the idea with that tool, the gig planner, we will charge 5% of every gig booked through the tool. We have on the stage, we will have a store where we'll charge 10% of every item sold in the store. So we'll have a revenue for the stage and for the backstage, and we'll have further revenue streams from other AI tools that we'll develop for promoting the venues, optimizing social networks.
I'm a big fan of technology, but I don't really understand the role of AI to solve this specific problem. So I understand the problem very well, but why is AI part of the solution?
Okay. In this specific case, the gig planner is the first AI tool we are using in the backstage. Imagine I'm playing a gig here, and I can predict if this gig that I'm playing here now will be full or not. I can say if it's cold, warm, hot, and make the helping the artist with the decision-making process.
So I'm also having a little bit of trouble understanding the product from the client's perspective. Mm-hmm. So I was going to ask you if you could take me through the journey of an artist that buys your product, and what does that solve for him, and how much AI is involved in that, and how much they actually have to do work based on recommendations you do, or do you have a team that then uses this knowledge that the AI produces and then executes it?
So it's both. We will have the human part, but with the technology, we can, for instance, an artist goes to the gig planner, it shows us a time and location, we list all the venues, tell the artist which venues are best for him at that specific time and location.
I'm confused. I thought that the stages or the venues book the artist doesn't book the venue.
No, the artist books we help artists book the venues by choosing the best venue for that artist.
But what data do you have on venues?
We have more than...
capacity, weather, but you don't know.
No, we have a lot of data we get from social networks, like the attendance. And attendance is the main thing to know if to predict the
so the
future
venues
attendance.
give you the attendance data.
Yeah, and social networks through Facebook, you can get the attendance to people
Signals.
that go. Yeah, so we have analyzed more than 16,000 venues, and we can now predict with a 98% accuracy if the event will be cold, warm, or hot.
We're going to have to wrap up Q&A. Thank you very much, Faniak.
Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you. Next up, we have VeedyBox.
Hi. Personalized movie recommendations from Netflix, personalized offering from Amazon, personalized music from Apple Music, even personalized experiences on your Facebook feed. Personal experiences, products, services are the way customers expect businesses to engage them these days. In fact, it can be said that today's marketing and business is about leveraging data and personalization to create ROI and retain customers for a longer period of time. So here's a question. If video is exploding as we see, and if personalization is so powerful, how come we don't see more businesses using personalized video all the time? Why don't we see more personalized videos in our inboxes, on apps, on internet sites? Well, the reason for that is that truly personalizing video, the way it's done today, is just too expensive, too labor-intensive, and frankly can't be upscaled to the level it should be to make it a truly powerful tool. So this is why we created VeedyBox, a personalized online video ad platform. Here is how VeedyBox works. You choose, create, or upload your design. Then you choose the data you want to personalize the design with. And in a click of a button, you have it, 3 to 3 million different personalized videos ready to be deployed exactly when you need them. Here are some use cases. For example, in e-commerce, VeedyBox can be used to reduce those cart abandonment rates. VeedyBox can also be used to forge stronger ties with your paying customers. Let's see what's happened here. By remembering their special occasions. And in the field of customer service and customer experience, VeedyBox can help you leverage the power of picture to communicate what 1,000 words won't. And VeedyBox can also be used to make sure all of us attend next year's Web Summit. And in the field of HR, VeedyBox can also be used to communicate to our team better and to improve labor retention and labor engagement and motivation. And VeedyBox can also be used to take large sets of data and turn them into powerful video messages that actually sell. We came across and we understood the need for our services while working with SMBs to spur growth using high ROI campaigns. And the market is very large and expected to hit $50 billion in 2022. Thank you very much.
Hey, I understand the potential, but can you tell us about traction a little bit and which use cases and who you are trying to sell this to?
Okay, so we just started. We're about to start a paid beta with an insurance company, both from the side of marketing and from the side of HR. Both terminals in the company really got excited about that. We're working with ad agencies that really want to introduce something new to their customer. And the main point here is this. There are other ways of doing personalized video today, but not on small scale, which is really important because personalized videos as it's done today is really expensive and you'll have to do it for big amounts. And what we think is personalized video to become really effective should be more like a conversation. One video does not do anything. You can send a personalized video for 200,000 users saying, hello, Bob, happy birthday, or whatever, or Merry Christmas. But we want it to be a series of conversations that engage the client and nudge him to do the right thing. Let's say progress on his becoming from, for example, becoming a freemium user to paid user, or actually showing him the value that your service just created for him.
Could you quickly run us through your revenue model?
Well, we're a SaaS subscription, and basically there's a certain fee for depending how many videos you want to create in the system, $50, $100, and a small fee for every video that leaves the system.
Who's your competition?
Our competition is our certain like bodies that are doing personalized video have been doing it for quite a while, but they're doing it in a labor-intensive manner. And, well, frankly, if you're an SMB, you can't afford it because whether you're a HR manager or you're a marketing manager, it's unlikely you'll have $50,000, $100,000 to do personalized video every month or whatever. And we want it to be almost a day-to-day occurrence. We want our users to be able to create a lot of different campaigns with little videos automated.
So is your single USP is that you're cheaper than your existing competitors?
No, not only. We are that, but also we bring a solution to a market that does not have it. If you're an SMB, you can't do it.
Okay. And what's your size now, revenue?
We don't have revenues yet. We're about to start paid beta very soon.
Thank you. Big round of applause for VeedyBox. Next up, we have Play to Speak.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Giuseppe Fantigrossi, CEO of Play to Speak. So, okay. I'm having troubles. Okay, there you go. So,
It's like this, yep.
oh,
Forward and backward.
there you go. So I lost a lot of time now. All right. They say the best way to learn a language is to go and live abroad. Now, that's a fully immersive solution, but not very practical. What if we took that experience and we brought it to you? We put it in your room. This is what we do. We help language learners practice speaking English in virtual reality. And we do it by that they practice using conversational, immersive experiences. So how would it work? You put the headset on after downloading the game, and you start talking to our characters in our short story. While you play, you get feedback, and at the end, we give you suggestions on how to improve on your speaking, listening, and reading skills. Now, I know you're going to say this is another language learning app. Oh my God. Well, before you crucify me, the difference that we do is that we use virtual reality. Virtual reality is a perfect medium to help create immersive content, and that is excellent for language learning. So, in a $2.8 billion industry segment, we are going to target schools and academies at first, selling our license, our monthly license, and also bundle of hardware if they need it. The competition in virtual reality is starting to grow. It's starting to happen. Now we have major mobile language learning solutions who are trying to go into this market. And how we differ from them is that we focus on what's it called? We focus on immersive conversations and customized reporting. Now our team is 5 strong with 3 co-founders. We have experience making AAA video games and a VR studio before joining Play to Speak. Right now, we have a demo online, and it has about 1,100 downloads. What we're going to do is we're going to create a full product with the help of Cambridge Assessment and make it for the end of, middle of next year. Also, we're going to look at ways to improve our R&D for the artificial intelligence conversation that we have. To do this, we're looking for investors today. So we're looking for 15 investors at about 10,000 euros, and this will help us get 8 months to get our product onto the market. On that note, language learning, guys, is really hard. We're going to help make it a little bit easier, and together we can help change education future. Thank you.
I know in a lot of the markets that is looking at AR, VR, the most difficult challenge is the cost of the hardware and the ineffectiveness or inefficiencies. Can you talk about how you're going to overcome that versus the competition has no additional hardware costs?
Okay, 2 things. One, it is true that it is it is expensive, so what we're going to focus in is the next hardware, which is a standalone headset. That you do not need a computer, you don't need a mobile, it's all built in, and it's valued right now at 200 euros. That is already like the most expensive you're going to get. It's just going to go down in price as the hardware gets better. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to eliminate the computer and all that tech that's barriers to entry and focus on that. But there are companies who don't mind to invest. They have the hardware, and for them it's not a barrier. But those like the schools who have a limited budget, we're going towards that, and that's our next product.
Why are you the right team to develop this product?
Virtual reality is new. It's been for a while, but it's getting better, and the competencies in that market, they're not that many. We have a team who has made virtual reality back in 2014, who's made games and had a VR studio before. In addition to that, we have access to English specialists, so language specialists, and partnership with Cambridge, who we want to make the next product for assessment.
Do you have any hard data that tells you that this is a better way for children to learn a language?
Neuroscience have been doing articles, so Cornell University and so forth, have shown that virtual reality versus other means, 2D and so forth, improve the way that the mental training happens. So that is crucial for language learning. So if we would do gestures, and I put you in an environment where you see the gestures, you will remember it, and that is part of the cognitive learning in language. So it's not just talking, it's also the mimicking.
So Cornell actually state that it is a better way to learn than a normal screen that VR is.
They said that when they did a test, it was with, I think it was called Crystallize, was the game that they did. It was a Japanese bowing, and they showed that people were able to retain cultural mechanisms and talking when they were able to see the actions happen, not just listening outside of context. But again, it's a new market. People are trying to get more and more data and research.
What is your key skill? Is it virtual reality or is it the teaching of the language? And what is keeping massive companies like Rosetta Stone from not investing in virtual reality and putting this out next month?
Our key is not virtual reality. We can do virtual reality and it makes sense. What our key is artificial intelligent conversation. We make the engine so you can talk fluidly with a character. Now, Rosetta Stone can jump in, but it's the data that we're growing and we're having and we're improving. And that is what keeps us advantage on other people. We're measuring what people say, and we can use it to help them get a customized conversation and reporting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Big round of applause, everyone. Next up, we have GIAH International.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackie Carroll and I'm from GIAH International. Can you close your eyes and picture your dream life in vivid detail? That car you've always wanted, the house, maybe a successful career, or even a really successful business? In personal development, mentors and coaches teach their students that visualization is the key element to achieving desires and actually achieving your goals. Even some Olympic athletes use visualization before they compete. So we are addressing three main problems in the personal development market. And the size of that market to date is 9.9 billion, and by 2022 set to be 13.2. So the first one is that 76% of people said to us that they couldn't visualize their desired outcome. And 3% of the entire world's population actually suffer with a neurological disorder called aphantasia, which is essentially not being able to see something in your mind. Genie in a Headset is going to create a virtual reality visualization experience where people can select from environments and assets and actually immerse themselves in their dream life. Number two, personal development events are pretty expensive. Then you've got to pay for your hotel and you've got to pay for your flights as well. Now, generally, beforehand, the baby boomers used to be the main consumers of this market. But the millennials, who are now the biggest population group, are now the biggest influencers. And the two things for these guys are cost and convenience. So Genie in a Headset is going to bring the events to your home conveniently and cost effectively. How we're going to do that is literally you're going to be able to attend them in virtual reality. Third one is the biggest leaders in this space really cost 6 figures if you want to be personally mentored by them. They don't have enough time to personally mentor everybody. So Genie in a headset is going to create characters with these big leaders in virtual reality and add an AI element to them, which means their students will be able to actually go spend 20 minutes with them, ask them relevant questions of the courses that they're actually studying, and get answered in real time because of AI. We're bringing the self-development market into the future with virtual reality and AI. We're creating a platform where coaches and mentors can actually be raised to a higher standard. And I have been in the self-development industry for over 4 years. And there I've formed solid partnerships, including with Bob Proctor. We're set to be doing 15 million in the first year, and we are looking for second round funding. And we have a very small team with very key roles, and we're looking to expand that into the future. Thank you.
I'm interested in your revenue model.
Revenue model. So it's going to be B2B. So we have already approached Bob Proctor, who is going to, once our product is finished, then he's going to actually sell it to his market, essentially, so to his followers. Yeah.
What's your technology challenge in rolling this thing out, is there any barriers?
Are there any barriers? That's a very interesting question. I suppose the very, very first one would be we're going to be creating, because of the 3 problems that we're going to be doing, the very first one is the visualization experience. The second and the most complicated one is when we're actually developing them in photorealism with the AI. And I suppose that would probably take a lot more. And that means that's actually when we need to be expanding in terms of the guys that we're going to be bringing in and hiring.
So can you give us a very specific example of what you are selling through this partnership? How much they would pay, and who is the target audience? Is it millennials that are going to pay for this? Because I guess millennials are looking for the real experience. Yeah. And I'm wondering if you don't have like an education challenge to like just teach your target customers that now VR is a substitute for you to having the real experience.
We won't need to educate them because we're going B2B, we're not going B2C. So the guys like Bob Proctor, for example, if because they're teaching that visualization is one of the most important things for people to do to attain their goals, they're going to say that if you can immerse yourself in an environment that you can see. So it's not just millennials, but millennials are going to be the influencers in this particular market. So cost to product like that, we're actually going to be, with the other gentleman that he was saying, we're going to be taking the headsets that are standalone, putting the software into the headsets and selling it as a full-on product like that. That makes sense.
And how much would that cost?
Oh, sorry, the 997.
997 per
Yes,
headset.
Per headset with the software downloaded, yeah.
What happens when I put the headset on? What do I see, and who am I talking to? I don't get the AI at all.
So when you put the headset on and you've got the Genie in a headset, you will actually come up where you can select from environments. So you'll go into a menu. There'll be like an introduction that you'll go into, and you'll be able to select from different environments. So for example, if let's say you want a house on the beach, you'll be able to select your island with a house and you'll be immersed in that. So it'll almost be like a menu that you can pick from. So if people are creating vision boards and they're taking pictures from magazines, essentially, that's kind of what we're doing, but then you can be immersed in that. That makes sense?
No, where does the AI come in?
Okay, so the AI, that'll be another element of it. So the coaches who don't have time, especially the big leaders like Bob Proctor, don't have time to mentor people one-on-one. So we will develop them as a character and add AI to the character. So when people ask them questions, the AI will then sift through the data that's on the cloud of all of their teachings and give them an answer in real time.
Okay, we've only got 10 seconds, but we're actually over time. But quick question. Who's the team? Are you developing this in-house? Are you buying the technology somewhere else? Who owns this?
We do. So the company owns the IP. We do have it in-house at the moment, and we have been working with the Dublin Institute of Technology with their students as well. But it's generally the IP is owned by the company. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, GIAH International. Next up, we have History Search.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Martijn, and I'm founder of History Search. So, on your PC, it is the file system that connects your user experience. It gives a seamless experience whenever you find a file, which is then opened in the right application, and it does this automatically. On the web, it looks more like this. Each web service, each application, so to say, is containerized and has its own information. The problem is that it can be quite difficult to search across different services. What History Search does is it connects the web where it matters, and that's around the individual. So whenever you browse a web page, it'll index the text on that web page, and it's not just the title or URL, it's the entire content. So any word or phrase you remember will be enough to directly open a page that you've been before. I'm going to give you a quick demo you'll see right here. For example, I work with the Edge API, obviously, because we support all browsers. So I would simply type Edge API, and it would retrieve the document for me. Did everyone see the video, or was it too fast? So the next use case is, for example, this is a funny one. It's my own experience where I lost a booking confirmation. But you could use it to find things such as booking confirmation and other references. And obviously, this applies to your entire workflow. A final example is, if you're anything like me, you spend like 2 or 3 hours finding a jacket you like, and then you postpone a buying decision, and you want to buy it 2 weeks later, and then you have to go back and find it all again. Here, you would simply type the name of the jacket or whatever, or any other topic, by the way. You would toggle previews, and you would instantly recognize the jacket you want and just open the page right away. So what it does, it unifies the web around you. So what makes History Search unique and possible? It's a seamless integration with the browser. So whenever you're browsing, these pages are automatically indexed. Obviously, you control wherever it's active, so you can pause it or blacklist pages. Anything that you can think of really can be ignored. The second part is the private cloud. Our concept of the private cloud means that you actually own this data. And right now, you can use it to search. But in the future, who knows? You could use it for all kinds of things. It's actually my personal opinion, which is a problem with a lot of the current legislation around privacy, is that everybody is trying to prevent companies from getting information, and they're sort of ignoring the point that we're giving these people this information because we need their service. So if we don't have this data ourselves, we won't be able to get their service. This is a beginning to that as well. So how do we make money?
We're going to have to wrap up.
No problem.
Over your 3 minutes.
We have different plans, and more or less everything is, like the first version is free. The most recent 3,000 web pages, you can always search them, and that goes up across the plan. So you just pay for more storage. Our goal is not a small one. I want to have 20 million users by 2020. We spent 3.5 years developing this technology across practically every popular browser there is. We hit over 1 million searches. 1 second. We have 5.8% paying users, and over 15% of our users are active on a daily basis. So that's History Search for now. We have a lot of other things that we're going to add, such as collaborating and bringing the web even more together.
Privacy? Can you talk a little about privacy?
Definitely. What is the question?
Well, how do you keep the data private?
So first of all, History Search builds up an index, meaning that it's not an exact copy of the page. It's like the end of an encyclopedia, so it would know that those pages refer to specific URLs. That's one. So the combination of your query would send you to the most relevant page. The second part is that we've spent considerable amount of time developing what seems a little bit a simple application. So it's completely covered with authentication. Aside that, I think from a commercial perspective, we've decided to not show any ads, we don't show any data, and you can read our privacy policy. It's black and white. It says we do not sell or share any data with anyone for other reasons than providing the service.
And where does the data, where does my search data reside?
So the index, it's the more or less the data as what you described. So the index, at the moment we are partnering with AWS, and we use their services mainly because everything has biometric protection, and we use several other technologies as well.
One of your biggest challenges, I guess, is acquiring customers. How did you acquire the customers that use the product right now, and how do you intend to solve that in the future?
Well, so I launched a beta 1.5 years ago, and we were in beta for 1 year, and I probably spoke to everyone who wanted to talk to me on Instagram and Facebook, and we built an audience of 3,500 people who are really engaged with the product. So they're on our Facebook community, they're interested in what we're learning. Then we did a launch on September 18th, last month, a public launch, and yeah, it went really, really big. Like we got coverage on CNET, on newspapers, even in printing press, that helped us get our initial flow of users. But to answer your question, actually our focus is not getting a very large amount of users. Our current focus is increasing engagement. So how do we define success? Is if the engagement ratio of a user, the 15% daily active, that's our goal, to see that this becomes the way of navigating back to information online.
That's all for Q&A.
Thank
you, History Search.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, mine says sent.
It's taken ages. Hello. So last but not least, we have OpSeeker.
YOLO. You only live once. That's the motto of my generation, millennials. We care about the now. We care about experiencing. Whether if it is watching our favorite series, going out with our friends, or playing games on our phones, we love living the moment. Because life happens now, right? Wrong. It happens now, but it also happens in the future. And my generation is forgetting that. There are millions of millennials in risk of financial exclusion if we don't start doing something now. This is why we created OpSeeker, the first AI-powered financial coach that empowers young individuals to have money for a lifetime. We are building online tools that use AI and behavioral economics, which works people's cognitive errors and emotional biases. Let me explain that better. People, we tend to be bad decision makers. Sometimes we drink too much, it's quite hard for us to exercise, and we love junk food. But that's just our brain. We are wired to meet short-term needs while we completely disregard long-term goals. And our competitors are brokers, robo-advisors, banks, insurance companies, but we like to see them more as potential clients because we provide a white label app that we adapt to the needs of these clients, financial institutions, helping them regain millennials, a group that gives us an opportunity of over 1 billion in the two markets that we already started operations, the Netherlands and Spain. And we help these financial institutions to increase their revenue per millennial by 650%. How? By driving them to investment products, which we do with a SaaS model, understanding of the changing needs of the financial industry. This is our selling pipeline, which has 5 phases that work in perfect harmony. We started in 2017 And we are already doing pilots with major financial institutions, tier 1 financial institutions in both the Netherlands and Spain. This year, we're going to close it with between 30 and 40,000 euros of revenue. 2019, we're forecasting 400,000 euros, and in 2020, we'll be at 2.2 million. And this wouldn't be possible with our fantastic team, which mixes both youth and expertise. We have experience in building software, structuring financial products, and leading teams in companies such as IBM, Amadeus, Airbus, Santander, or UBS. Together, we will make sure that we improve the financial health of our generation. Thank you very much.
Do you have to integrate with bank systems so you implement a B2B partnership with a bank and then you have to link into their systems?
We have two options. We have either the option of doing it ourselves in a model that we host ourselves in our servers, or we can do it on premises as well.
Banks have always been pretty conservative. Talk a little about your customer or partner acquisition strategy. They always seem to find 1,000 or maybe 1,000,000 reasons not to do things, and it seems like you're very reliant on them to your go-to-market strategy.
Correct. I think you're completely right. They are really resistant, but now there is a bigger force, and those are the profit margins that they are starting to drop because of a lost generation. In 2008, we had a huge crisis, and they have lost all the trust from millennials. Now they're going to become the highest group of customers, and they need solutions. They are looking and searching for solutions in order to help them to regain those clients. And that's what we're doing. We are joining acceleration programs. We're going to events like these ones in order to put out there that we have a solution that is better than what is right now out there. So that's actually our acquisition strategy. Yeah.
Why did you start with Spain and the Netherlands? And how are you better than the competition? Because there's other products out there solving the same problem.
We started in Spain and the Netherlands because I'm Spanish, and in the Netherlands because Startup Bootcamp has, for me, the best acceleration program with banks. We have been able to get partnerships with Rabobank, for example, or other banks and insurance companies. And in terms of competitors, there is other people doing financial advice. There is no one focusing in preparing psychologically the investor for their financial advice. And that is a big difference. Right now, no one is tackling the most important problem of the investing world, which is the behavioral gap. The difference that exists between what an index returns and what the people that invest in that index returns. And all that is psychology. All that are all our cognitive errors and emotional biases. We are the only ones doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, OpSeeker. So that is all our startups and their pitching. We are going to bring them all back up on stage now. Come on up. Everyone give a round of applause for all the startups who have pitched today. Also want to give a massive round of applause to our judges. So we have Tomas, Christina, Steve, and Bobby. Everyone a round of applause for our judges? Yes. So this is me buying time while the results are calculated, if you haven't noticed. So, yeah, they're going to calculate the results. It's all done on iPads, a new system that they have this year. So I want to ask the judges a question for our startups and what they've just shown you. So out of our 5 scoring, the likes of disruption, what do you think is the most important that gives startups success? What do you think is the most important ingredient for success?
Team, and team.
Yeah.
At least that's from an American's perspective.
I'd like to add team to that as well. And none of them stopped long enough or went enough into team. It is absolutely about team, because if the business model is wrong or the product's wrong, a good team will meander or move the right way. And not one of them focused enough for me on team.
And to add on that, I think right now you're going to leave all very motivated. but execution is tough, and it takes a while to get, to fulfill all those promises. So having a good team is, of course, very important, but focusing on execution is key as well.
Yeah, just to build on that, I think there are three things. So I agree, team. Execution is important, but I'd put one thing above execution. I like to believe that these days we can pretty much build anything we can put our minds to it, and especially have the right team, but it's making sure that the market wants what you're building. So that's important. So make sure that you talk to the clients, talk to the end user, and build around that, rather than build this great concept that you and your team came up with 2 years ago and then put it on the market, and it's just maybe no one else wants it.
Anyone else have a question from the audience, maybe, on what has been said today? Anyone? I'm not going to go into jokes. Not a chance. Someone, no thanks. Oh, what do you make of the judges today? We were saying who was going to be good cop, bad cop earlier. Bobby. Bobby was quite tough with his question, I think.
If I can say one thing, being the Yank on the panel, and having spent this is my second week over on this side of the pond and visiting some other cities.
He was in Dublin earlier.
Dublin, I was in Prague. Here, when I listen to the startups, no matter where they are, and no matter where I am, access to money is always the number one challenge. And if it makes anybody here feel better, you all sound like American startups. Their complaint is the same. There's not enough access to money, but I encourage you, as the panel says, you got to build a wicked smart team, because the challenges are going to require it. Somehow, magically, the wicked smart teams execute better, don't understand why, and most importantly, on top of all that, is go build something that somebody wants to buy. It's a heck of a lot easier than trying to sell something that you would like to sell. And we always lose in this tech world that could you start on building something and it's tech. You got to have something that people want to buy and that you, besides the founders, can sell, because you don't scale your businesses when you hire on your salespeople and your marketing people. But the good news for you is it's a global problem, and it doesn't seem to matter where you are. The challenges are identical.
Thank you, Tomas. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Drum roll, please. We have a winner. So this winner will be going through to the quarterfinals. Yep, going through to the quarterfinals. So before we announce the winner, a bit more suspense. We want another round of applause for all our judges. Thank you very much. And a final round of applause for all our startups. You can clap yourselves, go on. You did a good job. And the winner of this round is OpSeeker. Well done, Gonzalo. So that's it for pitching startups here today. I would like to thank all the startups and their great presentations and showcasing their determination, passion, and hard work. In 5 minutes, group round 6 will be kicking off with 8 new startups and 4 new judges. Thank you very much for coming by.